All right, guys. Well, here is the first official start of replacing some of the seals, looking at the power valve, and then seeing if we have to do anything within the cylinder area. I started off by draining the oil, which is the 17 millimeter nut down below. Oil would look fine because I just changed it. I'd say maybe 2 rides ago, so it really didn't need to get changed. I then drained the coolant and took off the water pump cover. So took off the bolts. Make sure you keep track of how the bolts come out because they are different lengths. And then I do believe there is a dowel that should also come out. So I had to, which the dowel is right, I guess on the top 2. So make sure those are coming out fine. I did have to hit it with just a rubber mallet. Make sure you're not hitting it in one spot and kind of bouncing around because you could mess up some of the dowels. So obviously this gasket's gonna need to get changed. And so this is really the first step, is draining the oil, draining the coolant. I took off the gas tank seat plastics, and then now we have access to get to the top end. So we'll keep track of some progress that we make here, but essentially first quick 2 steps to get this bike prepped to take off the side case, take off the top cylinder, and then really figure out what the hell's going on. All right, guys, so the first thing we're gonna do is take off the spark plug and then take off this radiator hose. So I've already gone and done that. We're gonna go ahead and just replace this hose clamp as well. But let's take off this spark plug.
Take this off.
Little rich, not too bad. Really oily. We'll keep that in mind. Next thing you have to do is going to be to take off the mounting bolts to the frame. So make sure you take note on which way your bolts are facing. So you could see that the bolt is coming from the left side to the right side. Same for these 2 bolts on top. So there's 2 bolts on top and then this bolt down low. And so we're gonna take those off as well. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and take this off.
This should come off like that. So it came in from the left side into the right side.
And we're gonna go ahead and put this away. Okay, so now we're gonna loosen up each of the bolts 1/4 turn at a time to avoid any head warp. Overkill in my opinion, but we will follow the rules. Take your time on this step. There's no reason to rush. So we're gonna go ahead and take off the cylinder head now. Important you actually take off the full bracket. It doesn't allow for this to come off. If the bracket is still there, it sort of hits right here. So we're gonna go ahead and pull this out. And luckily that came out pretty nice. So looks like, not sure if that's some foul play or not. We're gonna have to further investigate that. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on the side. Lay out some shop towels. So let's, oh wow. That does not look good, does it? Interesting. We're gonna have to further investigate this. So let's go ahead and take off this gasket. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take this cover off. We're going to take this cover off, get the cylinder to bottom dead center, and then we're also gonna mark the bolts 1 through 4. So it's gonna be 1 in the back, 2, 3, and then 4 on the other side. And then we're gonna go ahead and do that and take the cylinder wall out of the bike. All right guys, well I just took this off, really easy, 8mm bolt, but you can kind of see all the oil that's in that. That's not looking good. So we're gonna go ahead and put this on the table, and then the next step is to loosen that bolt on the other side as well. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and loosen this valve cover up. It's a 17, so we're just gonna crack her loose. I probably need both hands for this. Let's see, can I sit you up here? Okay, so we got that loosened up. So now we're gonna go ahead and loosen these up 1/4 turn at a time. So I'm gonna do this pretty slowly, and it should be hopefully not too bad to take out. Okay guys, so we started to loosen these up in a crisscross pattern. It was a bit, it honestly wasn't too bad getting these off. It does require a little bit of force. Make sure you're using a really high quality. I really should be using 6-point, not 12-point. These are Matco. I had some Harbor Freight in there, wrenches in there that I was gonna use, but honestly, I started to turn one and it looked like it was stripping. Another issue is we have a stud that is seized. So the stud and the bolt are turning at the same time. And I did spray some PB Blaster. So I think I'm just gonna pull this out and hopefully this can come out with the cylinder. So I'm gonna hit it with some PB Blaster one more time. And then we'll see how we get this off, but I'll be sure to let you know. We also need to take off the reeds and the carb. And so I'm gonna go ahead and take these off so that the cylinder can come out. So let's go ahead and do that part as well. Okay guys, we have spent I'd say a good 2 hours trying to get this thing out. It looks like it was seized on the left side. There's a dowel, and this stud is essentially, the bolt is stuck onto the stud. So luckily, these are threaded studs, and I'm able to fish out the cylinder with that stud and kind of loosening it and pulling it up, you know, as I'm hitting it. But I've had to really be patient and keep hitting and knocking this around. I was using the spring tab here and just this little wooden stick to hit it up, and you know, I had to hit it a few times, kind of, you know, pretty hard. So hopefully this thing comes out now, and it looks like it's finally starting to come out. I just have to, you know what, I'm gonna stick a towel in there so we're safe. Flying in there. This towel will also help me keep that cylinder head up. Be right back. All right, here she comes, fellas. The sleeve is out. We did it. We did it. Holy shit, dude. Cylinder was cooked. Dude, no way. Check this out. Took the cylinder off, and we are missing a huge chunk of the cylinder, of the piston. You could see there was definitely some foul play up on top of the piston. Just tons of oil. I mean, no wonder why this thing was running so bad. And then you could see the bottom ring is still good, which is probably why the bike started right up. But that top ring is absolutely cooked. So, yeah. We're gonna have to change this piston. I'll have to take a closer look to see if it's stock. Kind of looks stock. But I think we're gonna call it a night tonight. Kind of clean this stuff up. I'm just surprised this thing still cranks. Like, I honestly can't believe it. I went on a couple rides with this thing. Wow. All right, guys, well, the last thing we're gonna do in terms of disassembly is taking off the Kickstarter and taking off this right side case. So we're gonna go ahead, we've already got the water pump cover removed. We're gonna disconnect this hose, take off this Kickstarter, which I believe you just take a 12 and yank it off. And then that should be able to slide out, and then we'll take out these bolts as well. All right, guys, we're gonna go ahead and remove this part of the case. Let's go ahead. I already took off the Kickstarter. You just gotta hold it in place while you put a 12 on there. And then I'm gonna remove this hose right here so that this can come out as well. So make sure you're cautious of the length in these bolts. It's really important that you keep them where they are because they are different lengths. I think I'm gonna go ahead and just take off the brake pedal to make this job easier. That should give us enough space. All right, let's go ahead and get this off. ahead and plane that as well. All right, guys, well, we got this off. It was getting a bit hung up on the Kickstarter. So what you got to do is you got to kind of like hold this in, pound it in, because it will start to pull out with this gear. So make sure you're, watching out for that, and then make sure that there's a washer there that stays, and there should be a washer here. That looks like a washer, but I don't think it is. I'll have to further investigate that, but there might be an additional washer that goes there. I'll confirm that. And then I think we're gonna go ahead and take off the clutch assembly so that we can get this gear off and change that seal back there. I guess next step here is we're gonna take out the power valve. There is a dowel here, so make sure you don't lose that. I'm gonna keep all my engine components in this case. This gear will now slide out with this pin as well. So make sure that this comes out too, and you're gonna be good to go. All right, guys, in order to take off the clutch basket, you need to peel these, like this lock washer back. Don't worry about damaging it. You're gonna end up replacing it anyways. So I just used a flathead and a hammer, and I'm gonna hit this with an impact. All right, I think I'm gonna try and hold this with a towel. Should come out like so. So we got the washer, we got the nut, another washer, and this should be able to slide out like so. Now this also should be able to slide out. And there we go. Looks pretty good to me. All right. There's two bearings here as well. I think I'm just gonna keep them there for now. And what we're gonna need to do is take off that seal. But everything's looking pretty good from this side. All right, guys, well, we have a threaded screw here. We're gonna go ahead and take out the piston. I saw this little neat hack. It's a long threaded screw. I have a larger washer on the back, and then I have an impact socket. So we're gonna go ahead and essentially thread this so that it squeezes down on the wrist pin and pops it out the other side. So let's go ahead and try that out. We're gonna put a little towel, even though the piston's junk. But first we're gonna go ahead and take out those two small little pins. So let's go ahead and do that. Make sure they do not fall in the crankcase, which is probably the most important part. Pin number 1, and then pin number 2. Ow! Pin number 2. So let's go ahead and get this wrist pin out. All right, guys, well, we got the wrist pin out and the cylinder off. So you can see she's pretty cooked. Oh bueno. Made in Japan. Looks like the stock cylinder. So we should be able to use the stock bore. Is some good news, right? All right, guys, so now we have to move this gear here. I just used a 1/4 inch impact with an extension and held the crank here, and it wasn't too bad to take this off. There is a washer, so make sure you don't lose that washer. So that comes out like that. And now we can change your seal. Sweet. So this thing did come in handy. There's our seal. And honestly came right out with that. So don't know if this was actually bad, but glad we get to change this out now. Won't have to worry about it. Things look pretty good. So we're on the up and up, guys. I hope you enjoyed that teardown video. We got a few things done here, so we're gonna go ahead, inspect everything, clean everything up, and then start ordering parts and putting it back together. Well, there you go. There's your teardown. We took obviously the top end with the cylinder off. We took the right side case off. We took the clutch off, and we also took the water pump as well as the right side seal. So, you know, hopefully I could bookmark this so you, you know, maybe you just need to get to one part. But we're gonna go ahead and wrap up the video. I'm gonna do a separate video on disassembling the exhaust valve, power valve, and hopefully we get to clean those parts up. And then we just got a package from Rocky Mountain, which has that right side seal. So we're gonna go ahead and throw that in there really quick. And then we'll be on our way to getting this back together. Well, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed the comment. Please like, comment, subscribe. Helps a lot. Let me know if I missed any step or if I should do anything at this stage to make sure this thing runs right when we put it back together. So with that, we'll see you guys in the next video.